In this video, I need to relate a concept to you that may be a little foreign unless you happen to have some background in programming, okay? It's called Boolean, or true, false. Notice the color of our postcard theme, okay? It's either green or it's kind of a mauvish color, just depending on if it's male or female, right? Green for the guys because it goes with the green in the model's eyes. And the mauvish color, actually, let me pull up here real quick so you can see. The mauvish color, I don't know if that's a mauve. It's kind of like a, I don't know, burnt sienna something. So it's actually a skin tone from the model's lips, though, is what it's supposed to be. Which I thought that might make, it more attractive to the ladies because of lipstick color. Anyway, I guess that's inconclusive as evidence. Just the assumption of one man, guys. So the color, though, is controlled by a hue saturation adjustment layer here in Photoshop, and I'll show you. This hue saturation adjustment just turns off and on and changes that color. That's all it does. Okay, that off and on is controlled by true and false. True means on, false means off. And the reason that I'm telling you these specific examples, guys, is because, this is the information that we had to find out for ourselves. The documentation, the examples that are out there on the internet, don't really make it this simple. So you have to do a whole lot of digging. We're taking the tasks that as a direct marketer like you and I, the things that we need to do, just showing you specifically how to do those things. But the concept, that can be adapted. Once you know how it works, you can adapt it and use it for your campaigns. Let's go back to our Excel postcard file. And it's actually this one. I'm having trouble keeping track of all these. And we basically need to do a simple test. In this case, assign a true value if they're a female and assign a false value if they're not female, i.e. male. And we're going to do the exact same if function. So let's create a new header. Let's actually scoot over a little bit. And in our new header, we're going to call this color underscore theme. Hit enter. And the formula looks like this. Equal sign, if, opening parentheses, if we're going to select the gender cell for this record, if D2 equals F, what we want to show up here is simply that Boolean true condition. So I'm going to type the word true, and notice I did not put it in parentheses. That's because in this case, true is not a word, it's a state. Boolean values are based on two states, two possibilities, either true or false. Ones and zeros, that's all, okay? So if it is a female, true, comma, so if it's not, I want this to say false. I want this to be a false Boolean state, and closing parenthesis, and that's it. Hit enter. So it shows up as true. Notice that it is centered automatically. That's because it's letting us know it's not the word true. It's a state that is there. And that's the important thing to understand with this Boolean stuff. So again, I want to take that whole thing, and you want to do your whole, your whole list and stuff. I'm just going to do these examples right here. So we've got true, false, true for females, false for males. So let your mind wander now on what kind of power this gives you. Think of the things that you can do with your postcard campaigns, even envelopes. For example, you could show a version of a headline based on their age. We could do a simple if test and use that. Remember, this one had the birth year in it as well. Okay, if they're between 1970 and 1980, we could show them an iconic music idol from the appropriate era that they would be able to associate with. If the year was between 1981 and 1999, we'd show them a different musical idol because, they'll be more familiar with something that's a little bit newer. So you see the power here with variable data printing and the right information in your list. Guys, you can do some really cool stuff. And the thing about it is, it's not just because it's cool that you're, it's not just personalized and wow, that's great. What that translates to is getting better results because you're able to make a much more personalized connection. If someone is 25 years old, for example, you show them somebody in music from that they are going to associate with. And if they're 55 years old, you show them somebody in music that they're going to associate with a totally different genre or era or whatever. So you have that power and flexibility here if you do the planning and you have the data. So now another thing that we want to do is not only be turning that layer off and on, but we want to show a different image depending again on gender. This campaign targeting heterosexual divorcees. So if it's a guy, we want him to see a girl. If it's a girl prospect, we want her to see a guy. In the next video, we'll go over graphics and some things that you need to watch for.